Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at one of my favorite toys and from one of my favorite toy lines. This here is one of the Transformers Monsterbots that we got in G1 in the Generations line. This is Transformers Generations Titans Return Twinferno and Daburu. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Twinferno is also known as, I believe it's Double Cross. In this case, we have this awesome, monstrous skeletal dragon. Just starting out with the kind of beast mode, I guess you'd call it, this mechanical beast. It is very fun to me. Way back when I first started this channel, some of my first videos were the other two monster bots, Grotusque and Repugnus, doing their repro label sheets. I've had stickers on Twinferno this whole time, but I never really did a video at all on Twinferno, so this is kind of my opportunity to fix that. But yeah, with repro labels, I mean, this guy looks fantastic. I love the grays, the whites. Like, the nice thing is we don't get any yellowing on this white at all, really. Maybe the tiniest bit on these skull heads, but I don't think so. We have these nice hinged mouths. They open up on both hinges so they can get nice and wide for some sort of blast. This was before we really did blast effect pieces, so there's no real blast effect ports. Instead, the gimmick of this line was these little Titanmasters. And here I have Daburu, and he is repro labeled up and painted up a little bit. You can see where some paint has flaked a little bit on the shins, but we do have our nice little painted lion head. And this is a reference to something, and I just don't remember what it is anymore. But again, I like the white, I like the black, and then I added a little red and blue to contrast things. He does transform, but we'll show that in a second. And then we've got this dragon. I mean, these nice scaly wings. It was just really cool to see something so monstrous, but still be a good guy. We've got cool vent detailings thanks to repro labels. Some nice mechanical details here. Some nonsense Cybertronian letters there, which came out really nice. And there is some paint on this guy, a little bit of silver paint. They're getting excited outside. He's got his double gun sled thing that allows the Titanmaster's got little pegs and a slot that he can go into right here. But he can pull it off and he can split this gun out like so. And then, you know, in addition to the paint on the tail, there are some other painted bits here and there. They'll show up a little more in his robot mode, but the black here. But you can, if you split the legs out and bring this section down, you can open up this panel, and if you don't want your Titanmaster to ride the dragon on the back, he can fold him up into a seated position, and he can get inside the chest, kind of mimicking the original Monsterbot gimmick, but not really. And yeah, it's just a really cool design. It's got good articulation. There's articulation in the neck in two places. There's the head itself. There's a ball joint on this arm here. You can flap the wings up and down. You do have a hip joint here. It can extend out, which is nice. So even though there isn't like a bicep swivel or thigh swivel, you still get some posability there. And then you can articulate here and at the toes. Nothing really in the tail. For its time, it's a pretty well articulated beast mode. I will say, obviously, we've improved articulation since this time a lot, and we'll see the difference there in robot mode. But I did want to show, here are all three of the monster bots all repro labeled up. We've got Repugnus, Twinferno, and Grotusque. And it is funny, like, these two names obviously mean kind of ugly. Twinferno isn't really matching that scheme there, but these two are both remolds of this guy, which was really neat. We got Twinferno, and then eventually we got Grotusque, and then I think Repugnus was an exclusive, like a Generation Select style exclusive, and then way later on, like 4 years later, we got one more remold, and that is Fangry, and that was Bumblebee's like Universes Collide Troop Builder pack. But it's just been neat to see this mold and the Titans Return gimmick coming back over and over again over the years. That is something that does make me really happy because of how much I do like the mold and the gimmick of the toy line as a whole. I've talked about this before, but it's really cool how, again, these deluxe figures, they're essentially vehicles for your Titanmasters. So you can mix and match them if you want to put someone else in the cockpit, you absolutely could. We could take, I don't know, some random Titanmaster, stick him in there, like so, and then you can still position on the back here. If you don't want your guns for whatever reason, you could still have Daburu standing on the back because he can port into those holes right there. So it's just a really neat thing if you want to, you know, riding your dragon, that sort of thing. That I really appreciated how hard the toy line went into the gimmick. It's something that makes me, as a toy enthusiast, someone who likes play pattern and design, really, really happy. Twinferno's transformation is pretty easy. I don't know that I've done it on camera. I might have done it in those early Repro Labels videos. But all we're going to do here is we're going to come in, we're going to separate out the legs. We can fold these legs back and back, separate them out, and then we can roll out, split the tail, like so, then roll out each individual leg. And then the robot mode feet are just the beast mode legs folded up, like so, on either side. And there we get some solid big old stomping boots. We can flatten out, there we go, like so. Then up top, we're going to come in and we're just going to separate out the neck joints. There are some tabs and slots that they interact with here. Flip around the dragon heads, and those will slot in. There's a little slot on either side there. And then this is Twinferno, you know, and he's done. He's in his like Trans-Tector robot mode. And again, a really cool, unique design, I feel. I like the way that they took that cockpit area, they've covered it up. He's got his original chest. Again, more Repro Labels picking things up. We've got a little bit more paint. We've got the dragon head hands, which we can give guns to, like so. And again, if you're someone like me who enjoys Scramble City style game like play, I really like that. So you can take your Titanmaster here, you can fold him up, stick him in up top, and you can mix and match. And I feel like people don't, they want, it seems like collectors in my demographic really just want the toys to look like how they did on the screen. That's the only thing they care about. They don't care about play pattern. But I love the idea that I can like mix and match these heads. And I've got all these extra heads. I can rip that one off. I can stick this one on, like so. I can take that one off. I can put on like a totally custom one, like a nonsense blue visor thing, like so. Yeah, I like that I can do this. Like I can spend time just playing with my toys. You know, we looked at Orion Pax earlier. We can take that head and stick it over here. I kind of like the way that one looks. And then we can take this head and stick it over here. There we go. Yeah, to me, like that's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to mess around with these guys. It's a lot of fun to take these guys, you know, pose them up in different ways, swapping heads around. Yeah, the toy line really had captured my imagination. And I came into the toy line and was a Transformers fan kind of once again in 2012. So this wasn't too long after that, but like what, 5 years later or something? But it was really neat to see a whole toy line lean into this. And it is a pretty decently articulated toy. We've got a good neck joint. We've got 360 on the shoulder. We've got bicep swivel. We've got kind of a gorilla arm curl. Not really any hands to articulate. He can do the splits. He can kick up if you get a skirt out of the way. Not super far. That's a little limited. He can kick back that far. He has a beyond 90-degree knee bend. He does have thigh swivel in robot mode. And he doesn't have ankle tilt, but you can kind of mimic it a little bit, but it's in the wrong direction. But again, not as articulated as a modern generation's Transformer, but still a really cool design. Now, over the years, some joints have gotten loose, with the remolds especially. You know, a little wrist joint here. This guy, Repugnus, so this sword goes in the back of this panel here, and that was such a tight fit that it apparently tore it off over the years. These things happen with toys. When we play and love our toys, you know, they can't last forever. But I really love how this trio looks. I think the Titans Return Monsterbots were so cool, and Twinferno being kind of the first of the group was a really, really neat thing to see. It actually, looking at them together now, I kind of want Fangry to get, I mean, he's loose as hell, but I want him to get Repro labeled up. Even if he's not a monster bot, he still feels like he belongs in the bunch. So yeah, this was a look at Transformers Generations Titans Return Twinferno. These days, if you're trying to grab one, it is pretty pricey on the secondhand market, but I think it's worth it if you're a fan of this aesthetic, if you like kind of the later G1 Transformers idea of just going nuts with, you know, monsters and dinosaurs and futuristic vehicles and all that stuff. And again, if you like the Titans Return play pattern, it's an easy recommendation because these guys get to interact with everything else in the Titans Return line. When you get these guys, they build and build and build until you've got a whole Titans Return city of vehicles and monsters and all sorts of stuff, and that's a ton of fun. Thanks everybody for watching. This was a very self-indulgent episode. We'll see maybe next week. Hopefully I can find some Age of the Prime stuff and start talking about something new again. But this is a really nice look down memory lane. Thanks everybody. Bye.